Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today in Fire Mage Episode 3, in my learning series of learning how to play this spec, Flamestrike is back and in a big way. Before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. There is a Patreon link down below. This is going to be an early access video for my patrons. So yeah, come on by, check that out. Early access, exclusive, coaching stuff, tons of stuff to see there. Discord link, Twitch link, merch link, all down below as well. Alright, Fire Mage Episode 3. So 10.1.5 is now fresh. We've got a full rework for Mage, and we got a lot of things to talk about. But I'm going to have to kind of pick and choose. I played quite a bit of Mage, and I've done so better than I've thought possible. So, number one, Flamestrike is back. Flamestrike is baseline to the Mage spec, and the Fire Mage spec tree rework, because all the Mage specs kind of got shuffled around and reworked, has a lot of interesting talents that go along with Flamestrike. So, one of the things that I haven't been doing is posting my build, so there it is, and you can see it up above. I'll put it on the corner, right up above me or whatever, so you guys can kind of see what I'm running, and I'll put in a build code for that as well. So you guys, if you want to copy it, you can. I'm not saying this is the best. A good friend of mine gave me this, and it's been working very, very well for a newbie like me trying to be good at this spec. So Flamestrike is one of those things that I was actually kind of worried about having to place. It is a ground-targeted ability that you place, and with Flame Patch, it just constantly deals a lot more damage. So one of the things you want your tank to do is to pull really, really big and then plant and not move, because you want all of that Flame Patch damage. But as well, you want to be using Meteor, right? So we're using Meteor now, because it's no longer in the class tree, it's in the spec tree. So one of the things that I've been doing to kind of try and get good is, once I know that he's planted, or they're planted, while I'm in the middle of everything, or I'm kind of working my way up towards another combustion, but once I know the pull is like settled, because there's definitely been some threat issues, I drop down my Meteor, hit my combustion or my Sun King's Blessing, and just start going to town. But really, to get as much Meteor damage and Flamestrike damage and Flame Patch and everything, you really want to be focusing on like the one spot, all right, and hopefully everything's keeping there, but also knowing where your tank is really important, because tanks are 99% more likely to backpedal away from mobs than to run right through them. Unless you know that, they had to move ahead of the dungeon, they have to go through them. Most of the time they put their backs to where they're going, so that way they can backpedal away. So once you kind of see that the pull is dying and he's trying to move it forward, you can kind of keep that Flamestrike going as well. Another thing that's really nice with Flamestrike is it now starts your hot streaks. It interacts with your hot streaks, which is incredibly nice. So one of the things that I was doing is getting, your fireball going or anything like that to try and start your hot streak, and then BAM! You can hardcast a Flamestrike, and then you're already kind of going, which is really, really nice, and that was a nice way for me to save on Fire Blast going along. One of the things that I talked about recently as well in a past video was the Phoenix Flames, and using that. And one of the things that I started doing is using it a lot more for Sun King's Blessing. So with that, if I did not have a heart streak going while I was hard casting my Pyroblast to get my Sun King's Blessing combustion going, if I did not have that started, I would literally start my next cast after that Pyroblast would be a Phoenix Flames. And just this small thing alone helped me use that ability a lot more, but I also noticed that with a new talent on the tree, I just have it a lot more anyway, because it reduces its cooldown by 10 seconds, which is really, really nice. But that alone, that one little thing that I was just acknowledging, because before, while I was hardcasting my Pyroblast, I would hit a Fire Blast to try and start a hot streak, so that way, when that Pyroblast hit, I would instantly have that instant one, and I was just rolling. But now, with the Phoenix Flames and the Pyroblast going at the same time, both hit at the same time, and you're immediately going with your Flame Strikes and everything like that, and it worked really, really well. Another very nice change that I found was a huge quality of life was the Sun King's Blessing. Once you proc your combustion for Sun King's Blessing, or your next hard-casted Pyroblast proc Sun King's Blessing, you have 30 seconds now instead of 15 seconds. oh my god, is it ever a life changer for this ability? You just have it. So I would save it at the end of a pull, be like, okay, this pull's pretty much dead. By the time I hardcast this Pyroblast, I'm not even going to be able to finish my combustion. And then you could just hold it and then start off the next pull with that and then go ahead. And oh my god, it's so nice. It's so nice. But as we discussed in the last video as well, the stats might be changing, and it seems like they did. It is now really hard haste and versatility, mastery being the least good thing because we're not seeing any ignite damage, which is our mastery. So I've gone in the process of started swapping my gear around from haste versatility to haste mastery, but I'm doing this slowly. I'm doing 8 keys a week. I did pretty much all 17s this week. I'm item level 428. Which is really, really nice. One of the main issues I had was not damage. I blasted in keys, and I found my damage was all around fantastic. Whether there was an augmentation evoker in my party or not, I know they're the new hot thing, and obviously with augmentation, you're doing a lot more damage. But whether I had one or not, my damage was respectable for my item level, and I'm happy. But my god, do I feel squishy right now in 17s. I'm only item level 428, and I feel it. My cooldowns, my Blazing Barrier cannot come fast enough, but I'm also really, really bad at using Greater Invisibility as a defensive cooldown. I feel like I've started using Mirror Images a lot more, which is really, really nice, especially at the start of pulls, to keep the damage reduction a little lower, and the amount of damage that I take being lower. And which is really, really nice, but I'm really bad at Greater Invis. Greater Invis, to me, right now, the way that I have been using it has been, I accidentally pulled something, I went in the way, something's targeting me that I don't want to target me, hit Greater Invis, and I always have it because I never use it defensively, which I think is wrong. And the other thing that, as well, is Ice Block. I'm taking the talent that gives you a 70% damage reduction every 4 minutes instead of the immunity, and I think I'm so used to saving the immunity for oh crap that I'm not using this button defensively, and I don't like that, and that's something I think I need to change. So going forward, Greater Invisibility and Ice Block I want to be using more proactively as my defenses to start taking less damage. But we also have a new ability that I think has been so much fun in Mythic Plus, and I've been slamming this button a lot, and that is Mass Barrier. 2-minute cooldown, you can put you can put a barrier on you and everyone in your Mythic Plus party. This is also usable before you put the key in. So before the key goes in, make sure you slam that. It gets reset on key, and when the key starts, and everyone has a barrier to start off the key. This is really, really nice in dungeons where you just get going right off the bat. Now, Tharis, Freehold, and things like that, you just get more value out of it, which I've been having a lot of fun with. Cauterize is now baseline as well, and oh my god, I have procced this thing more times than I can count because I am also playing very aggressively, and one of the things that I've had as well is I know I'm a range spec, I know I'm a mage, but Dragon's Breath is an insanely good AoE stop that also interacts with your hot streak, and I discussed some things that we can do with Fire Breath before, Dragon's Breath. There's so many Pyro Fire Dragon names, it's absolutely crazy with this spec, and trying to keep them all in line is super fun. But one of the things that I've been doing is kind of waiting for the right time while I'm kind of hovering around melee, because there's no more Rune of Power, which we'll get into in just a second. There's no more Rune of Power, so I'm feeling a lot more mobile, because in my endless amount of combustions, I don't need to hardcast anything for the most part. Right? It's fine, it's great. I could just run around and do what I want and things like that, but I'm kind of holding my Dragon's Breath for an AoE stop, but I'm also putting myself in harm's way. So I really need to kind of stay back a little bit and go from there and work that out. But no more Rune of Power has also meant that I'm so much more mobile. I'm not locking myself into a position, and I definitely think removing that ability from the game has done a world of good for people that want to pick up Mage as a new spec, because so much of your damage was focused around you standing in one particular spot that attracted every mechanic in the game, and then you would either die or you'd lose so much damage, and it really, really sucked. This has added so much for Fire Mage, at least. I cannot comment on Frost and Arcane. I'm sure it's done worlds of good for them too, but I haven't played it, so I don't know, right? I've strictly been saying I'm going to work on Fire Mage, and this is what I'm going to do, and I want to get good at it. And I feel like I have. Single target still feels like a struggle for me at times, especially when I went through the raid. I feel like the single target build and the AoE build aren't that different, and I know you just don't Flamestrike in single target, you do Pyroblast, but I kind of feel like I'm just lacking or I'm missing something, this is something I'm going to have to look into a little bit further as I go along and kind of figure out what I'm doing wrong. But Fire Mage is an incredibly strong spot this week. We're Monday, and as resets, I know they're getting nerfs. I haven't actually looked into the nerfs. There have been some prominent YouTubers that have Mage YouTubers that have posted videos about that. I just haven't had the time to watch them because I've been incredibly busy with all the new tank changes and augmentation evoker and everything that's been coming out. I just haven't had the time to look into Mage as much as I wanted to, and I've been relying on a lot of my friends to provide me with the information that I need to do so, which is wonderful. That's community. That's what we do, right? And I'm really, really happy with how I've played it, where I've gone, and where it's going. I mean, yes, it's getting nerfed, but it's also kind of super busted. It's kind of like just a little bit, but Fire Mage has been incredibly fun. So that is episode 3 for Fire Mage. Join me on stream when I do Fire Mage stuff as well. Help teach me. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'd love your little tips and tricks and everything that you hear, because this spec has such unique utility to be used in certain spots, and to learn it has been fun. It's been a challenge, but man, have I been having a lot of fun with this spec. But that is it. Keep fireballing. Have yourself a good one.